Ja, sehr gut, ja. Sehr gut. Es ist jetzt, ich glaube, wir sind sehr pünktlich. Nein, 2 Minuten vor sind wir. 2 Minuten vor. Und das gibt Gelegenheit für, ich denke, ein Solution-Demo oder so etwas, nehme ich an. Solution, nicht Demo. Eine Solution von Building a Sustainable Innovation Ecosystem, how Strategy, Culture and Governance turn ideas into execution. Das ist ein Mund voll. Das ist, ich kann es nicht wiederholen. So, da muss ich es lesen. Und Sie sind zu zweit und mit Hype zusammen. Ne? Nimm das Podium.
I feel like I want to head down this way.
Yeah, why not? So, hello from my side. I'm Emil from Hype, and I just wanted to introduce you to Zac, who will today explain a few lessons learned from the use case of building a sustainable innovation ecosystem. So it will not be a solution demo, it will be a use case from E.ON Next. And welcome Zac with me, who will now give you his lessons learned.
Thank you. And oh, good news! I don't speak any German, so I will try and be as fabulous as possible. I'm just looking around at your wonderful, lovely faces. Don't you just want to do cool stuff? All the time. Don't you just want to either launch cool stuff yourself? I'm going to fall off the stage, I can tell. Don't you just want to do cool stuff yourself or help others to do cool things so that you can go home at night and think, I had a good day doing great things? Nod. Yes, you want to do that. Okay, that's nice. I, as Emil said, am Zac Curtis. I'm UK Innovation Lead for a company called E.ON Next. E.ON Next is, of course, a subsidiary of the German-led energy company E.ON. E.ON Next specifically is the residential retail arm of E.ON. I'm responsible for two things. One is UK innovation, and the other thing is something called the Next Gen Home Program. Now, I appreciate that E.ON isn't necessarily in the disruptive technology market, but we do power it. And, of course, we do leverage some tools to help us create cool stuff, which is what I ultimately want to do. And I have created something cool. Well, it's cool for me. None of you might think it's cool at all. You might think this is a load of rubbish. But certainly in the UK residential market, I've launched something disruptive. And that is an energy as a service proposition. Now, it's an as a service proposition, so you could already imagine what it is. But essentially, with no money up front, I will install solar panels, a battery, heat pump, EV charger, include the commodity, the energy as well, for a single fixed price over a 10-year period. But the best bit is that it's all managed by a home energy management system. Now, that is a disruptive piece of technology, which means that, are you ready? I will control everything that's happening in your home. I will switch on and off all of the low-carbon assets when I want. I will control all of the low-carbon assets in your home so that I can then make sure you're using energy when it's cheapest or low-carbon intensive. That means that I can maintain that fixed price over a 10-year period, but also include your servicing of those assets and give you other cool stuff as well. Now, that's a first in the market in the UK. No one else has been able to launch it. Well done, me. Very good. But do you think it's been difficult? Yeah. I mean, show me with your eyebrows. Do you think it's been difficult? Yeah. I mean, some people are going, what's happening now? Yeah, it's been really difficult. I'm 21 years old, and this is what the project has done to me. It's been difficult for a number of reasons. I've been in innovation for a reasonably long amount of time with different companies and as an innovation consultant. And always launching things is a challenge. But it's a challenge for various reasons that I think we'll go into. But if you think yourself now, any innovative thing, any product, any service, any solution, any process that you've tried to launch or been involved with, what have been the challenges? They're the usual things, aren't they? Time, budget, resource, humans. And actually, the humans part is one of the most interesting things. Because if we think about an innovation pyramid of all of the things we need to actually launch something cool, we could say that they form these things. These three things here, the physical environment, structure and processes, and capability, that you might call the tangible zone. They're things that you could, in your organization, implement. Physical environment, fine. Some companies have inflatable horses and a tiki bar and other things that they think are quite interesting to help them innovate. You could have that, but whatever helps you have a conducive creative environment. Structure and processes, very important. We need the crazy, but we also need to make sure that the train stays on the rails. Capability, we need to have people who are trained and that they have the tools required to enable them to do good stuff. But the battle zone, the difference that makes the difference, I'm going to use the shadow to point to it. Oh, I can't reach that far. I'm too fat. Oh, behaviors and mindset. That's the battlefield. That's the difference that makes the difference. But how is it possible that we can all be heading in the same direction through all of those different things? The biggest problem is that we're all different. If you look to the people next to you, just take a quick look at that person next to you. Lovingly. Hello, stranger. If you look to that person next to you, they're not the same. I don't mean physically. I mean in the way that they think. Emil, where is he now? Is he gone? Hi. So Emil and I are very different. We approach the world differently. He probably is not that thrilled. I'm just parading about the stage being a little bit more unpredictable. That makes it difficult if we're working on an innovation together. If you have two people with different thinking preferences or different ways of approaching the world, trying to solve the same problem, it's not easy. Back in, 10 years ago, with Google, I launched the Innovator's Profile, which is a psychometric tool which did two things. Firstly, based on your thinking preferences, it determined where you were likely to sit on a particular innovation project. As an example, it was based on the physiology of the brain. I'm sure you know, the cerebral part of the brain deals with higher level thinking, very high level. And then the limbic part here deals with structures and process. The left-hand side of the brain deals with facts, numbers, detail, logic, planning, process. The right-hand side of the brain deals with creativity, spirituality, emotions, playfulness. And generally speaking, people have a preference. Now, hang on, is there a laser here? There is. So you might guess that one person you're working with has a particular thinking preference in one or more of these quadrants. Whereas I, for example, might be off the chart in this crazy one on the top right. How can Emil and I work closely together? If he is somewhere over here, it's not going to work because we'll be clashing the whole time. So I need to find a way of fixing that. That's the battle zone we talked about before. We had a challenge in E.ON when I was trying to launch this exciting, disruptive product, Next Gen Home. The things I was trying to solve were that the teams we have in the company, there's 90,000 of us. Oh, I got confused, that was that. Teams have very different thinking styles, which meant we could have overlooked ideas, we did overlook ideas, and ideas from one type of thinker can struggle to be understood. So if I'm trying to explain Next Gen Home, we're going to control your house, we're going to control everything in it. It'll be great. Someone else will say, no, you're missing the point. Policy, tax, control standards won't work. And the other thing is that we needed to find a way to ensure that all different perspectives actually fed in to the whole. Now, we've partnered with Hype after a lot of market analysis for a number of reasons. Firstly, Hype have enabled us to have very clear and structured ideation campaigns linked to specific, strategically aligned problems. 90,000 people, multiple silos, and now we have visibility of multiple silos feeding in to particular campaigns to solve problems. Hype's also helped us with collaborative evaluation, which has brought those different thinking preferences, those divorced, that's too much personal information, the collaborative evaluation of different diverse teams together, and also it's allowed us to have very transparent workflows. I'm sure you can appreciate one of the big problems in innovation generally is in giving visibility to multiple levels of the business, especially reporting to senior people as well as grassroots, so you can keep them engaged in what it is you're doing. So we managed to solve that, but it goes beyond that, because what about an ecosystem? Am I making anyone sick? Am I moving around too much? I'll try and be a bit more. Okay. In his, I would say, seminal work, The Innovation Ecosystem, Mock O'Keefe determined that there were 4 areas to an innovation ecosystem in a company. The first one is the direction, then the environment, the engine, and the enablers. The direction is, we could say that's the where we want to go. That's being aligned on the where we want to go. It defines the purpose of every innovation project that we're working on, that it's strategically part of that long-term goal that supports our organizations going forward. Without a clear direction, I think it's pretty obvious that ideas can become scattered, misaligned, lost. Perhaps some stimulus from outside of this room is the often touted Facebook 10-year roadmap. Now, the point of this in this context is that when Facebook built their 10-year roadmap, they didn't have a clearly defined idea of what 10 years would look like in terms of propositions, in terms of complete products. But they did know that they wanted to get into connectivity, drones, etc. They did know that they wanted to get into AI and VR and AR. Now, what that meant was that as the 10 years progressed, they were still heading in a unified direction, but they could at one moment pivot and change or adapt to keep moving in that direction. Now, for E.ON, it was slightly different. It was different because we had to find a way to align the activity to the strategy, which itself wasn't unified across the business. Multiple different brands, different countries, different policies on energy in each country. But we had to find something which allowed us to prioritize ideas that could deliver the best possible value for customers, as well as the business. How do we prioritize those once we actually get going on our roadmap? And the next part is we had to make sure that we could celebrate innovation in the best way across the organization. That, we felt, would give us a useful direction moving forwards. Hype, with their platform, did support us with those campaigns I mentioned before, because we tied those campaigns directly to our strategic themes. Let's take one as an example, and that's called connected assets. So that's the number of heat pumps or EV chargers or solar panels and batteries that we actually have connected to our system that I can then control. Too much power. Yeah. The other thing that Hype allowed us to do is to then have very clearly validated data points, which ensured that we could have enhanced decision-making and a way of, actually, in some cases, killing things off if we needed to, or pivoting and changing direction if we needed to, as well as a unified innovation dashboard. So in one place, we can have very clear reporting, and we can make sure that our innovation efforts weren't just visible, could be easily steered as well. But what about the second ecosystem element, the environment? The environment is more about, it's the culture, it's the climate of the organization that you're in. It's about creating the conditions for success. And I think it's the space in which you can take calculated risks. You know what, I think it's probably the human side of innovation. The external stimulus might be Tata's Innovista. Is anyone from Tata here? No. Have you come across this before? the usual sort of innovation and awards program that stretches out over a year, but it's been structured in such a way that it encourages people to come in and create new cool stuff. That was too big for E.ON. Too much for us to do. So we did know that we had to continue breaking down silos. We did know that we had to encourage as many people from all levels of the business to share ideas without fear that I would shout at them. No, share ideas without fear that they would fail or they would be rejected. Who here has been rejected before in their lives? I mean, what I enjoy most is that there are some people who've clearly never been rejected. Ever. And I wish I was you. It's not great. And it's not great if you're trying to, if you have a cool idea that you want to submit and it gets written off or ignored or you don't know what's happened to it. Are you going to submit another idea? Maybe not. So we had to find a way to engage and encourage those people. And we had to find a way of engaging employees consistently over time. Now, with our engagement of Hype, we managed to be able to install cross-functional ideation campaigns. That meant there was something there for everybody, regardless of where they were in the UK business, what function they had. There was something, a touch point, something they might have knowledge on that they could feed into. There's a collaboration in the way that ideas are created and built as well, which meant that participation was very low risk and very engaging, and being able to give recognition and engagement with some of the gamification that you might be able to learn about later on, sustained participation over a long period of time. The engine, oh God, I've got to just know the engine. This is the how. In some ways, it's the most complicated part of the ecosystem. It's the processes, the tools, the workflows. It's the part about turning ideas into real-life projects, but in a way that is still transparent. An example of this is Rise with Barclays that you may have come across before. It started out as let's call it an incubator hub in London, New York, I think Tokyo, and a couple of other places. But it did a number of things. Firstly, it had accelerator programs for startups. It had corporate startup matchmaking, VC access, events, and community building. And it was great for them. They were able to create new ventures, and it was really useful. So for them, that was a useful external and outside-inside engine. For us, it was slightly different. We had to find ways to turn ideas into actionable projects. Now, what I mean by that is, have you ever thought that when you're building something cool, you spend a lot of time thinking about it? I spent way too much time thinking and not enough time taking action. It's the biggest thing I've learned in my entire life. I appreciate I'm talking a lot now, but less talk, more action. That would be great. So yeah, we had to find a way to actually turn thoughts into projects, actionable projects, very quickly. We had to find a way of clearly tracking progress and maintaining accountability. It's been so easy in a fast-moving, heavily regulated industry to say, you, sir, you're responsible for this work stream. And then, but you've got something else to do, and then suddenly your mind is elsewhere, and the project doesn't get followed through. So we had to find a way of tracking work streams really effectively, and of course, through that, maintaining momentum. Through Hype's platform, we were supported from that concept, from that ideation, from the campaign and then the idea, all the way through to implementation just on one platform, which was very useful. That gave everyone a single place to go for a source of truth. It did help that we have tools on the platform to show us measurable progress, measurable accountability, not just submit your idea into a black box. And also, it does help that, thanks to Hype, we have approved ideas flowing directly into structured project management processes. And by the way, I was able to define those processes and that methodology myself, which meant it could be aligned to our existing workflows and processes internally. nearly at the end of the ecosystem, the last part is the enablers, which, no surprise, are the supporting elements that keep the ecosystem healthy. It is the training, the metrics, the governance, the infrastructure. The enablers ensure that innovation isn't just a one-off. It's repeatable and scalable. It's embedded in the organization, and it's continuously improving. The stereotypical outside example of this is the kickbox. Has anyone used the kickbox? Yeah. I used the kickbox, the blue box, the green box. I created my own. I'm sure you have as well. And actually, they're quite good fun. You get, if you don't know what it is, typically you will get an actual box or a digital download. I preferred the actual box. Get sent to you. You could do it with a team. And inside, usually aligned to design thinking, you get instructions, tools printed out, I think a preloaded card with a certain number of euros on it, and something like a Snickers bar to give you some energy. And then you work through it and you solve a problem. You can prototype it with your prepaid bank card. It was a great idea, but it's sort of early stage stuff. But it's a brilliant thing, but not right for us at that time. So what the challenge we had to solve was to ensure teams have the right skills, the right training, the right knowledge, that somehow that was unified and aligned. We had to find a way to measure the impact and learning from our failures. And I fail on a daily basis. So every day is a new day to learn. We also had to find a way to embed innovation organizationally within the governance and routines and setup of multiple brands of E.ON in the UK. Thank you, Emil, because you have helped us with this as well. So you've helped us embed best practice and community features, which has actually enabled, capability building is a strong word. What it's done with the process that we've put in place on the projects module, we've got a clear framework that people can work through. There are documents, there are processes, so everything is benchmarkable, which has been really useful. So capability is innate because we give them something to follow. They've also helped us with analytics and KPI tracking. There's no point doing any of this unless, one, I'm hitting my hypotheses that I set out at the start of a project, and two, that I'm able to demonstrate that to the CEO, or I will be fired, but in a nice, loving way. And then the last part is that, and it's probably the most important one for me, I don't know if any of you work in quite a large organization, but innovation appears to happen here, 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 over here, this team down here, this team over here, this team outside. None of it aligns, no one talking. And that you get two different projects starting up, which are actually quite similar. They'd probably be better clashed together. No visibility. And this has allowed us then to have a portfolio view of all of the things that different teams are doing, which has been extraordinarily helpful and has meant that we can not only survive, but I really think, I'll be deliberately violent with my language, not only survive, but smash the competition in the UK market. Because that's ultimately what I want to do. I want to do good for our customers, but I want to do good by doing stuff that no one else has done before in the UK market, and I want to do good by making sure that I'm first to market. Give me speed, give me great customer needs that I can solve in a new way, but importantly, give it to me using the support of technology that can ensure, forget this one, that can ensure I can then somehow industrialize structure and processes that innately gives the right capability to my employees so that with a little bit of extra training, I can then help them think or accept how we're all different by having the right behaviors and mindset so that when we are working on a team, we're doing the coolest things in that industry that you can ever hope to imagine. Doesn't that sound like something you'd want to do as well? Well, thank you, one person. I think you all want to do something exciting and cool. So if you do and you are interested, do stop by the Hype stand. I will be there for the next 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes because there's lunch, maybe 45 minutes. I'm going to be there eating lunch. So feel free to come along and have a chat to Emil or the team or me, and together, in all of the industries that we touch, let's do cool stuff. Thank you very much.
Any question before we go for the break? Thank you for this nice talk. English. You can go on in English if you want to. Good. Ja, wir haben jetzt, ja, jetzt habe ich geswitcht. Wir haben in Deutsch, wir gehen raus und Kaffee und so weiter. Und wir sind wieder zurück, sodass Sie das auch wissen. Wir sind wieder zurück um 2:30. Viel Spaß.